Uzui Tengen gradually became a fan-favorite character. He first started off as some overconfident, arrogant character, and given that we just had Rengoku as Hashira of the arc before, and the way Tengen was portrayed in the first few episodes of the arc made the fanbase not like him at first, but over time and definitely by the end of the arc, he is one of the fan-favorite characters in the entire series. But let's be real guys, the Entertainment District arc has only 11 episodes covering it, so in order for Tengen to progress from an unlikable, arrogant character, he has to have moments in these 11 episodes to justify his spot as the next Hashira after Rengoku, as well as improving his likability factor in order for fans to follow him in this story arc. So here, I have picked 5 moments from Uzui Tengen that shocked the world. Here we start off with the famous I am God quote. After our main trio of Tanjiro, Zenitsu and Inosuke volunteered to help Tengen in his mission in the Entertainment District. Now, on the surface, you would think this is Tengen being his arrogant self, and considering this is early on in the arc, you would just roll your eyes when he called himself a god. But then he hilariously says that he is the god of flashiness and the god of festivals, and calls our main trio trash. It's the way he is saying it with such conviction and hype. You don't know whether if this guy is being serious or if he's taking the piss. Zenitsu's reaction is all of our reaction when Tengen was giving his epic monologue. But what's even more jokes is that Inosuke starts calling himself the king of the mountain, and then it's Tengen the one calling him a king. That is the best reaction anyone can give at that moment. But this little scene here, it made us see that Tengen is actually a really funny character, a big goofball of a character, and if you think about it, in a way, he's the perfect character to replace Rengoku, because Rengoku's death put the series and the fanbase who are anime only, myself included, in a state of sadness and mourning because of Rengoku's death. So we needed a spark, an energy, a moment, something to just rejuvenate us and hype us up again. And Tengen being the arrogant goofball straight away from season 2 made us feel excited and happy again for this upcoming season. Number 4, Tengen says Inosuke, Zenitsu and his 3 wives against Daki's belt. This moment for me summarizes Tengen in a nutshell. He comes in with the flashy entrance, slices up Daki's belt to pieces, reunites with his wives like a hero returning from war, and to top it all off, he has another hilarious moment with Inosuke. Soon as Daki's belt escaped, Inosuke was screaming at Tengen that the belt escaped, but of course, Tengen being Tengen, made sure that Inosuke worshipped him and gave him their appropriate praise for this heroic moment in episode 5. Seriously guys, there's probably a compilation on YouTube showing Tengen's funniest moments, and this is definitely up there. But him wanting all that praise and validation is played off for comedy and laughs, but I feel there is a deeper meaning behind him wanting the praise, and I'll get onto that later in the video. Number 3 on my list comes from episode 7 when Tengen sliced off Daki's head. Now the big build up for this season and the hype went all to Daki before this episode. She is the evil demon that kidnaps other girls and even hurts little kids if she doesn't get her way. She even had a scene with Muzan earlier on in the season, so the big heel push for this season was Daki. She was so overpowered that even her belt has a life of its own and can easily be a second-tier boss for our main trio to face. Daki just recovered from her encounter with Nezuko and wants blood, whilst you see Tanjiro struggling to keep Nezuko under control. And just as we thought we were about to witness Daki's belt slice the whole building and kill those innocent people, Tengen shows up and slices all the belts and just casually walks by Daki. In a very similar fashion to Gojo in episode 7 of Jujutsu Kaisen, where Gojo calls the cursed spirit in that episode weak, Tengen, in a shocking moment, calls Daki weak. Weak! The very demon that's been terrorizing everyone this whole season so far, he called her weak. And as shocked as she was hearing this, I bet she didn't expect her neck to be sliced off with her head falling on the floor. It's the delayed slice of Daki's head that makes this moment so badass from Tengen. Tengen was so fast that he managed to cut Daki's head off and no one saw it happen. Character who we thought was the big bad demon in this season got humiliated and destroyed by Tengen, highlighting what a beast he is. And it was him who knew Gyotaro's presence and that Gyotaro is the real enemy. With the next few episodes, Tengen is fighting both Gyotaro and Daki at the same time. So I think in terms of strength and fighting abilities, we do need to put some respect in Tengen's name. After all, he is a shinobi. Number 2, Tengen asking Rengoku for help. In episode 8, we had a tender moment where Tengen compares himself to Rengoku, in that he can never be like him and save all the people like how Rengoku would do when he went out on mission. This is a big moment in my opinion. Before this episode, you would just assume that Tengen is a very confident guy and that nothing gets to him. He managed to overcome his struggles of fighting in his family and make it as a Hashira. So of course he would have all the confidence in the world, right? He calls himself God, he tries to get the main trio to worship him. You would never think he would ever doubt himself. But in this brief moment in episode 8, he did. He questioned himself as a Hashira and what it means to be a Hashira. Him talking to Rengoku and asking for some advice and validation is probably where his need for validation stems from. He doesn't believe he's as good as he thinks, or he's at least not as good as Rengoku, which may be the reason why he wants people to constantly praise him so he can feel good about himself. That is more of a glass half empty take on this scene for his character, but another way you can read this scene is that all the bravado and confidence is a facade, and that he truly is a humble character and wants to do good and save people but doesn't have as much power to do it. That is why he's asking Rengoku, a man who is known to save everyone whenever he fights. So him asking the best heroic Hashira in his eyes proves that he is humble and not arrogant enough to think that he is the best or a god, like how he loves telling everyone that he is. And finally, the number one shocking moment from Uzui Tengen in season 2 of Demon Slayer is of course his epic battle against Gyotaro in episode 10, where he saves Tanjiro from getting killed and unleashes his sound technique, reading the score of Gyotaro's attacks, with the following minute of them fighting probably being the best animation I have ever seen. The color, the music, them screaming at the top of their lungs, it's food for the eyes. That's how good this sequence is. It's so satisfying and pleasing on the eye, with both actors of Gyotaro and Tengen putting on a performance of a lifetime. This moment for me still shocks me on how good it is. It set a standard that other shonen can never reach. It's the finale of the final battle as well, so Ufotable had to bring out their A game for it. And I can honestly say this episode looks better than the movie. That's how good it looks. It ended up being the flashiest episode of this series, and probably in all of anime as well, as Tengen's big moment to show that he is one of the fan favorites of not only in this series, but in most popular shonen anime.